Hey, Craig here. Well, welcome back to this series. This is part 3 of the series of bringing my mini mill back to life here. Alright, so we're going to start off with the x-axis, alright? Alright, I got the table relatively cleaned up. Broke out the maroon Scotch-Brite there and cleaned that all up. Got the underside all cleaned up. I had a bunch of chips under this thing. This thing isn't really put on all that well. I'd take it off, but you know, I don't know, in the future someone may want to convert it back to manual. I don't know, so I'm just going to leave that on there. Got the gib all cleaned up. All the gib set screws all cleaned up, so let me get some, you know, I'm going to go ahead and put the gib on there first. I guess we don't necessarily need oil under the gib because that doesn't really move. So yeah, get this thing all oiled up here. And do the same on the underside here. I guess everything that's smooth on here is probably what is actually sliding together. If they've got like rough cut on there, you know that's probably not going to be touching. So they spent the time to clean this up really good here, so I'll make sure I get oil on there. Alright, so just got the gib on there going the right way. Just slide this puppy on here. That's pretty smooth. This is just kind of a test fit on here first. I'm going to pull this back off so we can put the ball screw on here. Got the ball screw, I got the tape on here to hold all the nuts in place, I think. Hold the screws on there, so. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'll probably get this cleaned up a little bit here too, maybe get some oil on this thing here before we put it together. Okay, I think I have all the components ready here, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this back off. Now we know that that's moving freely there. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the ball screw in with the Lovejoy connector on that end, and because that sits snugly in there, and I'll turn this a little bit, make sure it's turning freely. In fact, I think I'm going to put some oil on here. Get some oil into the walnut there. And kind of run it back and forth here, make sure everything's smooth. It was a little tight right around there, but it's running smoothly now. Go back again, work it in a little bit. Yeah, seems to be okay. Alright, I think I'm ready to go ahead and slide the table on here. I'm going to make sure that the gibs are in the right place here. So I turn these in a little bit so that they grab the gib a little bit, to make sure it doesn't move, but not so much that I can't slide it on. I've left the gib nuts off. I'll put those on later. Let me slide this on here. Alright. Okay, I've gone ahead and tightened up the nut on this end, on the bearings, and tightened down the jam nut there. Now I'm going to put the spacer in on this end. So go ahead and flip that up. Put these screws through here. Just slide this over. I can get these screws started here. There we go. Tighten that down there. All right. Now we should be able to operate this thing with the Lovejoy end there. Yeah, it seems to work pretty good. I think I'm going to tighten these gibs down a bit. Just to get rid of some of the extra play in there. That looks pretty good. Okay, let me try this, make sure it's moving freely here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright, now we're ready to put the motor mount on here. The X-axis motor mount. Now, I've got the, back this up here a little bit. I've got the Lovejoy on here already and tightened, because you can't access this later. And make sure you have enough space between the motor and the Lovejoy for it to spin, but there's no access to tighten this, so you got to tighten that now. So alright, let me go ahead and mount this on here. Alright, I'm going to take these mounting screws out. I'm always mixing up the 1/8 inch with the, I don't know, whatever size this thing is. 3mm, the 1/8 and the 3mm. I'm always mixing those two up. Alright, so we will gotta get the little rubber deal on here. Yeah, I had to drill one of these out because the thing on here was too long. I did that, yeah, like 5 years ago. The little rubber deal in there. And then put the motor in here. A little tricky to line it up. Okay. To get the first screw started, it should be a piece of cake. Alright. These long ones are a lot easier to use, especially with these stepper motors. I mean, I guess the T-handles are even better, but it's just easier to have these laying around than the T-handles, I guess. Alright, and it looks like that is it. Oh, you know, actually I wanted this popping going down. I'll back these out and spin this back down, but alright, well, that looks like it is it. At least I'm getting the kit back on. There's of course, I have limit switches and everything for this thing, but I don't think I'm gonna worry about those right now. I'll just get the thing running. So, all right, well, cool. All right, well, there it is. Got the covers on, the bellows on there. I was missing one screw, but I mean, for all this, and that's not too. Actually, I think I'm missing a screw on one of these limit switches. I was thinking about doing the limit switch some other time, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just do it. So anyway, so this part of it is done, and so I'm going to go on to doing the let's see, the limit switches. Then I can get everything hooked up to the control panel and hooked up to the computer. And all right. Alright, well, if you like this video, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. Feel free to leave any comments down below. If you'd like to subscribe, there should be a subscribe button around here someplace. Patreon, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, that'd be much appreciated. Some other videos you might like to watch over here. And as always, thanks for watching.